Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is April the 24th. It is 9 o'clock in the evening as I'm recording this on the East Coast, already 4 a.m. in Ukraine. And yes, Ukraine is still under air alarm and the Shaheeds are flying around. The attacks are nonstop. Why this additional video today? It is so important because, ladies and gentlemen, Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia, coming on Face the Nation, speaking in fantastic English, and he just drops the bombshell. Donald Trump is the only world leader that understands Russia, and Donald Trump is the only world leader that can fix this situation. I couldn't even believe it when I heard it. I was ready to settle down for the night. I said, no way. The world needs to hear this. They need to see this, and they need to understand. You have the picture here, Putin and Lavrov pointing at Trump and saying, only he understands us. This is our guy. Tonight, you're going to hear in a quick video two main clips he's talking about. One is the strike on Kiev, and the second one is only Trump can fix it. But I'll give you a teaser. Take a listen at this.
But he did say there was a deal and that he was sending his envoy, Steve Witkoff, to meet with Vladimir Putin Friday in Russia. Is that meeting still happening? And should we expect a deal this week?
Well, you don't trust the word of the President of the United States?
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, not unbelievable for me, because the world needs to understand. Lavrov, Putin, Dmitriev, these guys are calculated and trained in negotiations. They know how to flip the narrative. You know, they don't run around tweeting capital letters, throwing out threats, ranting on Truth Social. No, they're very calculated and they know every button to push. And this is just the sample. Here we go. This is video clip 1. And this is what Lavrov said about the strikes on Kiev last night.
President Trump has said publicly the Russian strikes are not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop, was his quote. What made it worth killing civilians when Ukraine says it's ready for a ceasefire?
We only target military goals or civilian sites used by the military. President Putin expressed this for so many times, and this is not different this time as well.
So was this an intentional attack then, not a mistake?
If this was a target used by the Ukrainian military, the Ministry of Defense, the commanders in the field have the right to attack them.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. He basically told you, yes, we attack civilian targets. You know, it's only military. And yes, you know, we had the big tweet, and see, she's referring to that Truth Social. Vladimir, stop. You don't even get a reaction from Lavrov. Of course not, because this is like child's play for them. You put Witkoff and Trump and Rubio and Kellogg, and you put them up against Dmitriev, Lavrov, and Putin. No chance. This is why the work of Ukraine, really the mediating of President Vladimir Zelensky, as he is standing up for what is right and trying to explain to the world, and even European leaders like today, President of France, Macron, coming out and making the bold statements that Putin is nothing but a liar and the war will stop when he stops bombing. And I can tell you, looking over here to my right, the drones are still flying and Russia will not stop. Now, we hit civilian targets, yes, when they are used by the military. Okay, so let me just show you. These are just some of the pictures from the strike last night that President Zelensky shared. This is Kiev, ladies and gentlemen, and I've taken out any of the pictures that would show the death of people. This is just some of the destruction, and yes, only Trump understands us. So this is civilian homes, cars, just devastation. This is the cleanup this morning. This is all in Kiev. And yes, these are just people's homes. Absolute destruction. The death toll is now at 12. Hundreds and hundreds are wounded. and Russia continues to strike nonstop. So this is what we are dealing with. But once again, it's back to the narrative. Only Trump understands us. Now I'm going to play you one more clip from Lavrov because you need to hear this. You just need to hear it. Here you go.
I want to ask you about what President Trump said on Wednesday. The president of the United States says he thinks the U.S. and Russia have a deal. Let's get it done. Does President Putin agree?
Well, the president of the United States believes, and I think rightly so, that we are moving in the right direction. The statement by the president mentions a deal, and we are ready to reach a deal, but there are still some specific points, elements of this deal which need to be fine-tuned, and we are busy with this exact process. And the president of the United States did not spell out the elements of the deal, so it is not appropriate for me to do this.
But he did say there was a deal and that he was sending his envoy, Steve Witkoff, to meet with Vladimir Putin Friday in Russia. Is that meeting still happening? And should we expect a deal this week?
Well, you don't trust the word of the president of the United States?
I was asking your president's word. What will he tell the U.S. envoy?
We continue our contacts with the American side on the situation in Ukraine. There are several signs that we are moving in the right direction. First of all, because President Trump is probably the only leader on earth who recognized the need to address the root causes of this situation. When he said that it was a huge mistake to pull Ukraine into NATO, and this was a mistake by Biden administration, and he wants to rectify this.
There you have it. We're back to the Biden administration. We're back to Trump is the only leader in the world that understands we have to get to the root causes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just about NATO, but it's about what Russia calls the denazification of Ukraine, nothing but lies. And yes, he says the president of the United States believes that we are getting closer. The president believes. You got to listen to what he says. He knows exactly what he's saying. The president believes we're moving in the right direction, but there's still points to be working on. She raises another question, and then he asks, it was really good, to be honest with you. So you don't trust the president of the United States? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do not trust the president of the United States. And we can see the proof of that is in the pudding of his action. But I will tell you this, Lavrov tonight in perfect English stating, only Donald Trump, the world leader that understands us, and we must get to the root causes of the situation, and it's complex, but we're moving in the right direction. I had to literally get up, fire everything back up in the studio to share this with you. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. We're growing quickly approaching 50,000 subscribers, working hard to share the truth. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. We will never give up. Thank you to our team. Join our Discord. Please leave a comment. I've been enjoying reading the comments and replying as I can. You guys are awesome. We'll be back at you. Who knows? I guess it's going to be another night I'm not sleeping. Be blessed.